Hi, it's Jenna. Today is April 2nd and it is 10:38 a.m. and I woke up this morning to snow. And yes, it is April and yes, it did snow. And it's actually still kind of on the lawn. It won't all melt away until like noon. Today I want to talk about beginnings, and I'm kind of going to keep this a short one because I've got some chronic pain issues flaring up and I just need the rest. So beginnings. I'm not going to say that books are bought and sold on their first line, but it does help. And having a memorable first line that like introduces everything about the story, even in just a couple words, is a pretty masterful thing to do, and something that you want to strive for. So in my rough draft, if it's a fabulous first line, then awesome. And if it's not, well, I'll keep trying. The first line of Continuo is, let me open up Ulysses again here, is, the laces stood out among all the other packets of black and brown, rainbow threaded with gold. Okay, so why does that encapsulate the story? Where to start? I wanted to do something with Wizard of Oz symbolism for this story. Part of it is set in San Diego, which I visited for the first, well, not for the first time, but like visited in depth for the first time 2 years ago and absolutely fell in love with the place. And it's a beautiful city. It's got great weather. It's got great atmosphere. I was on vacation with friends and we stayed at a place that was a hop, skip, and a jump from La Jolla Cove. We were actually in La Jolla, which is a suburb of San Diego. But we could have gone down a hill and walked to the beach, and it would have been, perfectly amazing. And I quite a few times woke up before everyone else and would go sit out on the back porch of the house and just watch the sun come up. You can't watch it from the west exactly, but you'd feel it coming up behind you and just watch it, paint the sky and turn everything from black and gray to colorful. And anyway, I completely fell in love with San Diego. I'm still infatuated with it. And so while we were there, one of the places that we visited was Coronado Island, which has the Hotel del Coronado, which if you've ever seen Some Like It Hot, that's where they filmed the hotel scenes, the majority of the movie. And yeah, it is supposed to be in Florida, but it's in California. But anyway, and yes, it is supposed to be haunted by the ghost of Marilyn Monroe. I didn't see anything. But I loved that building. I love interesting architecture. And there's something about Victorian buildings that is really kind of heart satisfying to me. So, even all the little nooks and crannies and little touches to windows and things like that. And they got like this observation deck at the side of the hotel that you can go on even if you're not a guest. And so you can look down here to the pool and look over here to the ocean and everything. And L. Frank Baum lived there for a while and designed a chandelier that I forget the name of at the moment, but it's in one of the ballrooms. And so when I decided to set this story largely in San Diego, I wanted to do that not only because I loved the place, but also because I wanted to set certain scenes, special moment type things, at the Hotel del Coronado and have Wizard of Oz references, no place like home and all that kind of thing. Even if that is more the movie than the book. I gotta stop touching my face. It's really hard not to. So that's the rainbow laces in the very beginning are symbolic of what William, at this point 16 years old, wants for his life and feels that he can't have because he is being held back by his very strict parents and their expectations of him, that sort of thing. So by the end of the story, he'll be able to wear rainbow laces. But the rebellion that they symbolize won't be necessary anymore. So, yeah, my room is a mess. I'm working on decluttering it. very slowly, very, very slowly. You should have seen my closet a month ago. Excuse me. I just had breakfast. And it tends to kind of burble up. Anyway, so that's kind of the philosophy. Touching my face. That's kind of the philosophy of a first sentence, is you want to present a want, for instance, or present a need that a character has. What are they going to work to conquer? So it's not so much the rainbow laces literally as it is just what they represent and the kind of freedom and self-expression and need for independence that William is going to be dealing with, particularly in this first section, and to a degree how it affects him in later life. I read the Patrick Melrose novels last summer when the miniseries was on Showtime, which I thought was one of the most beautiful and most brutal things I've ever seen and ever read. The writing in the Patrick Melrose novels is phenomenal, but it's very hard because it does deal a lot with domestic violence and child abuse and all sorts of other terrible things. So the structure of Continuo is why I bring that up, is that it is kind of influenced by those novels, that we're covering different stages of life in kind of contained stories, but what happens in the beginning, affects what happens to the end. So I'm not going to be writing about addiction so much as those novels do. And yeah, it's a romance. I'm writing a romance novel, a romance series, a very long romance novel, something like that. So yeah, it's not going to be rough, hopefully. So yeah, that's what I have to say today. Bye, friends. Talk to you tomorrow.